budgeters and fellow drop kickers, we have a budget hero in the lab today. Quentin. This guy is destroying his locals for budget deck. Quentin, talk to us, man.
All right. Well, hey everybody, hi budgeters. So as Budget Duelist said, yeah, I took a nice budget deck. It can come in under $60, and I was able to go 4 wins, 0 losses, and 1 tie. And just in case you think, oh, I don't know, I was playing against War Rocks or something. No, I was playing. It was a 5-round, 20-person tournament. Played against Zodiac, Eldritch, Dino, and Dragon Link that night. So we had all of the top tier competitors out there. Oh, and Invoke Shadal. I forgot about Invoke Shadal. Definitely played that. That was not fun. But we beat Invoke Shadal. So this is the deck profile. It is Tenyi's, inspired by a video that Budget Duelist posted about 6 months ago. I had some old Tenyi cards lying around, and I absolutely loved the Link for Babushka Turbo. And I took it from there, been labbing it out for about 3-4 months, playing in tournament for about 1 month, and this was the final build that I settled on last week or two. And I took it to tournament, and like I said, technically went undefeated, 4 wins, 0 losses, 1 draw.
Guys, there you have it, guys. Like I always said, I normally don't showcase, I don't really want to showcase the deck list because I'm like, I want you guys to be inspired or just take notes of the combo or the applications. And this is what Quentin did. You don't necessarily have to play the deck list I'm playing, because what I want to provide you guys is information on what else we can do, alternative plays. We don't have to break the bank. That's Quentin. The most expensive card is Ash Blossom. The time he bought it, it was what, a few dollars. It was like maybe about $10 at the time. You know what he said to me earlier? He can remove Ash from the deck. He doesn't even see Ash that much. Guys, let's be some more inspired. Quentin, give us some more information, guys. Give us some more information.
So what you're looking at here is a really awkward lineup, especially when considering your original combo deck. But that's because I went in with the interesting strategy of I want to go second. So starting off, entering any one of my rounds, my first game, my thought process is, okay, if my opponent wins the die roll, then they're going to call going first, like 9 times out of 10. Like, unless I'm playing against Altergeist or something like that, every single time my opponent's going to want to go first.
Yeah.
So if I build a deck that wants to go second anyways, if you win the die roll, you make me go second. If I win the die roll, I just call going second. So that means I can slot in specific cards that I know perform really well going second and just be able to break down whatever board my opponent plays. Because Tenyis have some pretty good and consistent 2 or 3 card combos. So a lot of the, like you said, Ash Blossom, I already had a play set, so I decided to run it. But you can take Ash Blossom out in favor for some other hand traps that are a little cheaper. Droll Lockenbird, the alternative art, is only about like $8 a copy right now. And playing that into something like Invoke Shadal or Dragon Link can really mess with them. Similarly, you can mess up Tri-Brigade as well, because with the new Bear Bloom combos and everything, like they try and search Revolt. If you can stop them searching Revolt, Revolt is really strong. So just being able to break that out is really good. But the whole point, and what makes this deck tick, I run some nice cheap hand traps. Lancia, phenomenal this format. Destroys dinos. Most dino players do not know how to play around Lancia. Fun fact, you can play around Lancia, but you have to run a very specific tech card, and most people don't. But most decks can't play around Lancia. It hits dinos, it hits zoo, it inconveniences Dragon Link from my experience. It also hits Eldritch pretty hard, which was another matchup I had, so Lancia was phenomenal.
Great.
And then the 2 cards that no one will have ever seen, side decked, probably like ever, or at least in the past like 2-3 years. 2 of my favorite cards, Lava Golem and Contact C.
Yeah, tell us a little, sorry for interrupting, but the Contact C, I was a little confused. I didn't really understand, but but tell us a little more about that Contact C tech.
So Contact C is a phenomenal card. I picked up 9 copies of it because when I bought it, it was like 50 cents. And I'm like, everyone is going to want to run this card once they realize what it does. When your opponent normal or special summons, you can special summon this card to your opponent's field. So long as this card is on your opponent's field, they cannot fusion, synchro, XYZ, or link summon unless they use this card. You play against Dragon Link. They cannot play Dragon Link because this is not a dragon monster. So you play against Invoke Shaddoll. They cannot fusion because this is not a Shaddoll monster and no invoked player runs the Earth fusion. You play against Dino. Doesn't hit Dino that hard actually. You play against Tri-Brigade. You hit them, they cannot go into Smorg, Shuriag, and the one that really made my opponent upset is he attempt to battle me with a Zodiac monster attacking me directly, and then go into a double Azus. I gave him this before he made the double Azus, and then he realized that he couldn't do anything.
And this one really got me. Like, that was sweet. Like, that was sweet, man. That was sweet. I'm loving this card. I'm loving this card. Initially, when you told me about it, I was a little, all right, let's see, but I can link, I can link with it. But I guess it's a very strategic card. It depends on when you're gonna set it. Like I think you said when that guy went into a Verti Anaconda, and like boom, my goodness,
no Dragoon. You just turned off Dragoon. You turned off a $120 pair of cards because Verte's at 40 and Dragoon's at like 80. He spent $180 on your cards. Right now, Contact C's at like $2.
Oh.
Like, So yeah, Contact C, phenomenal card. It is very much a meta call right now. So like you play it because it is good into the cards that the decks that are frequently played. It has a good Tri-Brigade matchup. It has a good Invoke Shaddoll matchup. It has a good Dragon Link matchup. So like it might not hit like not super high tier meta decks, things that can play like Nightmares a little bit more liberally. But anything that's very specific in its extra deck, I played a guy who's playing Prank Kids the other week. This wasn't in my tournament run where I did phenomenally well, but he literally couldn't play any Prank Kid extra deck monsters because I just gave him Contact C upon his initial Prank Kid normal summon. Wow. So,
yep, great man. Tell us a little more about the Lava Golem, yeah, because you chose to play Lava Golem over Kaiju. Kaiju is a little more easier to drop on your opponent, but tell us a little more about the Lava Golem and why you chose to play Lava Golem instead of Kaiju or what's his face, the one that sacrificed 3 monsters.
Raw Sphere Mode.
Yes, right. That's his face.
Okay, so here's the thought behind Lava Golem. One, Lava Golem, dirt cheap. It's like a 50-cent to $1 card. So getting your hand on a play, like there's like 9 different reprintings and it's been reprinted in like 4 different structure decks. So getting your hands on a playset of Lava Golem, very, very easy. Outside of that though, I found that hitting specifically 2 monsters was very impactful. Occasionally, if your opponent knows to play around it, they can play around Raw Sphere Mode. I used to play against a friend who frequently ran Raw Sphere Mode, and the rule whenever you played against him was do not have 3 monsters on the field at any given time. But you can still put up a very formidable board with just 2 monsters. Like if you just end on Dragoon, for example. Dragoon is a very formidable card. But when you think about how people are getting these cards out and what they generally like to end on, 2 monsters is a sweet spot. Because a lot of the times my opponent, you're playing against Invoke Shaddoll. Okay, they end on Mechaba and Winda. Very common. Like, if they get off their bread and butter combo that they do every night, you're going to be staring down a Mechaba and a Winda.
Yep.
Lava Golem just tributes both of them. And now they don't have a field. And, like, they may have some Dogmatica cards on the side, and, like, those can still be kind of scary, but not nearly as bad as playing into Mechaba Winda.
Yes.
So...
Definitely.
I can Lava Golem Mechaba Winda. I can Lava Golem Verte Anaconda and Dragoon, because most people do not remove the Verte Anaconda once they special summon the Dragoon, or they don't have a way to do that. So that's 2 monsters on the field. Dragon Link, I was able to hit a Borolo Dragon and their Hieratic Seals. So, like, all I had to compete with there was they had a Tidings in the back row. Eldritch. You literally just get Eldritch the Golden Lord off the field. Like they have a Conquistador in defense position and an Eldritch in attack. Okay, cool. I tribute both of those. Now you have a Lava Golem. You have no Eldritch on the field. All your other traps are dead.
Yep. Nice.
And the thing that was, you have a couple of very interesting techs because, like you mentioned, if your opponent has 3 monsters on the field and you have 2 Lava Golems in hand, that's not a dead draw. You tribute 2 of their monsters, give them a Lava Golem, and then you tribute the Lava Golem that you gave them and their other monsters, and you just removed all 3 of their monsters. If you have a Lava Golem and they have 4 monsters and you open Vishuda, you Lava Golem, hit 2 of their monsters, special summon Vishuda, go into Monk. Now you have a normal monster. Vishuda pops the Lava Golem. That returns it to your hand, and you just tribute their other 2 monsters. You just removed 4 monsters and have a Monk on the field.
Guys, the spice. it's basic, but you gotta see the spice. You gotta see the spice in between. You gotta see the spice, guys. Yes. All right. Go on. Sorry, Brad.
Do you want to get into the other card that people are probably very curious about that's on the deck list?
Yes, and I know you're talking about the trap card.
Oh, that too. Okay, so there are 2 cards then.
Unless you want to keep it, because it can be part of the going first deck. So I guess we can go with what you had in mind. Let's go for what you had in mind.
So I mean, both of these are phenomenal, either going first or going second. And when we first spoke, actually, I forgot about another card that I also ran, which we can talk about this one. It does a very similar but very specifically different thing. So we'll go over to the going first variation. As you can see, you literally take out all the hand traps.
Yeah.
And the reason why you can do this is because, again, for game 1, your opponent wins, then they're making you go second. Game 2, you win, you call going second. All right, great. You lose, and you get to call going first. Or at some point, you'll get to call going first. So you can play an exclusively combo variant of the deck for your going first build here, which is what this is. And this is the combo variant that I found that I liked because of specifically these 2 cards.
Yes. Oh. And guys, be prepared. But like I normally say, guys, if you guys are receiving any value from this video, hit that like button. And share for a friend, guys. Share for a friend. Let's go, Quinton.
So I feel like some of these are better to like show rather than explain. So I can show you the combo. So I run True King Lithosagam. We'll just get that out of the gate. And this card is phenomenal. There is a lot of synergy in this deck that when I even originally put it in, I did not understand. But the more that I've played with it, the more that I love running this card. If this card was at 3, I would run it at 3. It is just that good. Outside of that, the other one is both Barrier Statue of Drought, I run 2 of, and I run 1 Phosphidina Pachycephalo. Now, the great thing is generally speaking, drawing these, they're not dead cards, because you have 4 other cards to play with, and as we know, Tenyi is riddled with 2 to 3 card combos that are just absolutely phenomenal. And unless you're opening your combo with 4-Mud Skipper, you do not need your normal summon. I cannot stress that enough. A perfectly good and viable hand, you could open Phantom Knight's Shade Brigadine, which we can talk about, but more or less, it is a free special summon of a level 4 normal monster. Man. The only thing I could ask more in this deck is if it was called Tenyi. Like, if it was the only thing more is if it was just a named Tenyi monster. This is a phenomenal card. You could open up Phantom Knight's Shade Brigadine, Vessel of the Dragon Cycle, and Parallel Xyz, and go full combo. And you would end on what shut so many people out when I played, which is the Link 4 Tenyi plus a Barrier Statue of Drought. Because now your opponent is staring down a Barrier Statue of Drought, which, as long as you have a token or normal monster, they cannot target with card effects, and they cannot target it for attack, which is the primary way that you get rid of Barrier Statue of Drought. So unless your opponent opens something like Dark Hole or Interrupted Kaiju Slumber Or the one that really got me was Forbidden Droplet. They don't have an out. But if your out to my combo is playing 3 copies of a $100 card, I think you deserve to win that because you paid so much money.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, you know, it's one aspect of being a budget player is the fact that when you have your opponent back on the wall and the one card that pretty much outcosts your deck is the winning factor. Or even better, when this still don't get the W and you're like, ah, man, I'm gonna get this W and morally and physically. And like, being a budget player, like you most times you are at an advantage. Remember, like I said when we spoke earlier, but the fun is the creativity. And here we see it in your deck profile, right? The most expensive card there is Ash. And your going first version plays no Ash. So this build you have is about like $60, right? $60, guys. What did he destroy at his local?
We destroyed Zodiac, Tri-Brigade Zodiac, which is the probably top 1 meta contender now that Bear Bloom's out. We beat Eldritch, 2 different variations of Eldritch. We beat Invoke Shaddoll.
Expensive.
We drew against Dragon Link, and then we beat Dino with Dragoon.
Expensive.
Very expensive.
Guys, the amount of greens this guy took down with a little amount of green. That's a funny way of putting it, right? So guys, if you guys are not motivated, you do not need to break the bank. You do not need to break your wallet, guys. We can do this. Let's be creative. Again, the purpose of this channel is just to empower budget players. Let's rise, guys. Let's rise. Let's rise. Create the community. Let's get it big. Let's motivate more guys around us because we all love the game. But we know the game is breaking our pockets, breaking our wallets. But we can still win. So don't give up. We are here for you guys. Reach out. Subscribe if you haven't. Go on, Quinton.
All right, so I just wanted to go over a couple of combos that I really liked and kind of show you why running Lithosagum even at 1 is 100% worth it. This is a 3-card combo. And irrefutably, the best card in the deck is Vessel of the Dragon Cycle.
By all means. I do not know why this card doesn't have 10 in the text. But like I told you, budget. This is an disadvantage to budget decks.
Yeah, 100%.
The best card is never searchable. The best card is never searchable. Like, come on, dude. Like,
yeah. If this was literally called Tenyi Vessel of the Dragon Cycle, you'd be set because then you could search it with Heavenly Dragon Cycle.
That's right. That's right.
If both of those just had Tenyi in the name, the deck would be off the chain.
Definitely.
But even without it, you can still pull off some pretty impressive plays. So you go ahead, activate the Ashoshana. So you go ahead, you activate the Ashoshana, you go into the Monk, and then you go straight into Vessel. You pitch Mermere. You add to hand specifically Shathana. So this does matter. Going from here, you... Making sure. So special summon the Shathana. Use Heavenly Dragon Circle, which is something I never saw you do in any of your combo videos. Because like there aren't any real phenomenal targets in some of the versions you were running. But here, we search Lithosagum.
Yeah.
So opening here, we now have the Lithosagum on the board. We can we have it in the hand. We can banish the Ashoshana, special summon from deck, specifically Aduhara. Grabbing the Aduhara, you can see that any one of my Tenyi monsters turned into an Earth, and Aduhara is the other Earth.
Yes.
So we pop 2, getting Lithosagum's effect, which if you do not know what it does, you look at your opponent's extra deck. And you pick 3 monsters of different names and banish it. I cannot stress how impactful this was in certain matchups. I played against Tri-Brigade Zodiac. I banished Shuriag, I banished Double Azus, and I banished Smorg, Bird of Destruction. What do they go into? They can combo all they like. They have nothing potent anymore.
Yes.
I played into Dragon Link. I was able to banish their Borreload Savage Dragon, their Heretic Seals, and like with their Pisty. So they really didn't have it that much. Now, what we might have just missed, because I accidentally did it a little too quickly. Lithosagum just destroyed a non-effect monster, being your monk. Which is the exact card text that Shathana says. So you banish Shathana, special summon back your monk. Because monk is on the field and is a non-effect monster, you banish Aruhara, get either one back, so either special summon for follow-up the next round, or protection, because you could use this on your opponent's turn if they were to destroy one of your monsters. So it's personal preference. I like the added protection. And now guess what? You just ripped 3, banished them from your opponent's extra deck, and we're still going full combo because we can make Shaman because they're both worm monsters.
Sweet.
Activate Shaman effect, pitch
Bring
the
Mermer.
Shathana, grab Mermer, and you already know where this is going because thrice per turn.
Thrice per turn. Ridiculous. Thrice per turn. I love that text. Yeah, sweet.
And then you can just go straight into your Link 4, leaving Mermer on the field if you want to, because it's just going to generate more tokens, and then just leaving 1 token so you have the protection. So, like, this is a pretty decent board. I wish there was, if you have literally any extender, it is absolutely phenomenal. I will say that. If you have any level 4 Tenyi monster, or if you open Shade Brigadine, it feels so good. Because you can take Shade Brigadine plus Mermer into a number of rank 4 XYZs, which just feels so good, which we can go into in some of the other combos.
I really love that Shade Brigadine tech. I really love it. It's a free level for a normal monster. Sweet tech, sweet tech.
So one of the things that I'll showcase here with Shade Brigadine, which normally you would look at and you would probably say this is a brick of a hand. Let's say you opened up Shade Brigadine, Parallel XZs, and Vessel. This is a phenomenal combo just right here alone. Because you just go ahead, activate the Shade Brigadine, and because you have a normal monster, Vessel is fully live. That means you get the Graveyard Pitch and the Tenyi add to hand.
Yes.
Which means you can once again go full combo. Unfortunately with this, because you do not have the materials, it isn't beneficial to send Mermer. If you have literally any other 1 card, you go full combo. You can send Mermer and go full combo. If you open up just these 3 cards, however, I generally like to add some mixture of Ashushana and like Maparapa. So like you can send the Ashushana, add to hand the Maparapa or Mapura. And then you can just special summon this, go into a monk. And then we get to see why I run my barrier statues, because we run an absolutely gorgeously consistent rank 4 engine, and something that you have highlighted many times in your Megalith video. Barrier statues are rocks, and Gallant Granite will add any rock from deck to hand. So I have not used my normal summon yet.
That's right.
And I can end on barrier statue here. Now, what is really interesting is when I said the ideal board for barrier statue is ending on the Link 4 with the barrier statue, I can do that with this board because Monk is my Link monster. I can go into Berserker with these 3 materials. I now have Ashushana live, banish from the deck, search anyone I want, go into the Link 4, and still, I have not used my normal summon until now. Correct. So now I have a barrier statue and the Link 4. Right. So the only thing I will say is there's a little bit of anti-synergy where barrier statue prevents anything from special summoning non-earth monsters, and the tokens that you summon are not earth monsters. They're specifically light monsters, so you cannot special summon any tokens. So that is one problem, but if you found a way to do any extension or had any other way, so like if you kept the Shade Brigadine on the field, for example, that counts as a non-effect monster, so the Link 4's effect is live. If you just had a Monk on the field or anything like that, or had any way of bringing those out, so if you had any extension past the 3 cards, you're perfectly fine. Which also explains, at least in my opinion, why I run a card that you said you didn't like, which is I do not run Pot of Avarice. I run Pot of Desires. So I prefer Pot of Desires over Pot of Avarice almost irrefutably. Like I almost would say I don't like Pot of Avarice because more often than not, your opponent is running some form of hand trap. So if any of your plays get interrupted and you are unable to put 5 monsters in your graveyard, Pot of Avarice is a dead card in hand. And the opposite is true of Pot of Desires. If you're going through a combo and your opponent negates something and you need any extender and you've already put Mare in grave or searched your Lithosagam or done anything that requires any of your one-ofs, you just Pot of Avarice and you don't care really what you're banishing because everything you want to see you run 3 of anyways. And that's why you like this deck can very effectively run 3 Mare. So the likelihood of Pot of Desires hitting Mare, very, very low. And you could hit your True King Lithosagam, but more often than not, you're doing that very early in on the combo. So if you just go ahead and special summon any one of your Tenyis, go into the Monk, you can even just Heavenly Dragon Circle, pop the Monk, add the Lithosagam right there. If you are really concerned about running into any issues with banishing. But more often than not, I think there was only one time I banished my Mare because in my going second variation, you'll notice I only run 1 Mare. There was only one time I had 5 rounds, probably I'd say that's like 12 different games. In 12 games, I only banished Mare once off of Pot of Desires. And I mean, that could just be me getting lucky, but that's also just to show if you open Pot of Desires, you do not have to activate it right away like you do Pot of Extravagance. Yes. You can just sit on that in hand, go halfway through your combo, and make sure that you get to your one of that you care about.
Yes, makes sense. I love the justification. But with me, as you may know, I'm a combo junkie. I'm a combo junkie at heart. So I'm like, I will wheedle for my extra deck. I need this Pot of Avarice to get monks back. Because I somewhat play for one track mind. Again, as a budgeter, there's nothing you can do about Nibiru. If you can, it's that's like a $40 to $50 2 card you have to buy, which is going to Gravedigger's Trap Hole and Rafflesia. Or 2, you cut your combo short, which chances are this just won't be enough for a combo deck. So it's like either I die going plain or I get Nibiru. To me, I have no choice. Because it pretty much depends on the type of deck you're playing. So that being said, if I'm playing on most decks, I love playing combo decks. I won't think about it. I will go for my combo if I get Nibiru, or if I get interrupted, then so be it. So my luck with Desire has not been as good as with Avarice because I want to get my cards back in the deck because I wheedle through everything so far. So that is my justification. Which might be a little silly though.
One thing I will say is there is some room in the extra deck from what I'm running here currently. Cards that you absolutely must keep are 100% your Tenyi package. You're not getting rid of your triple monk, your double shaman. You definitely want to run at least 1 berserker of the Tenyi. Like those are just irrefutable. You have to keep those.
Yep.
One card I ran Gaga Cowboy just because unfortunately in the current environment we're playing in with remote duels, time very much is a factor. And thankfully I didn't have to do it, but there is foreseeably an instance where time is short. You can just go parallel Xyz into Gaga Cowboy, burn your opponent for 800 life points, and then time's up. And because you have more life points than your opponent, you win that game.
Yes.
So that was my justification for running it. But what you could do instead is we could always run Degusto Emerald.
Yeah.
Level 4 monster, target 3. That's targeting all 3 of your monks if you want. Shuffle them back in, draw 1 card. So
I think my very first build, I didn't showcase that build, but while playtesting, I gave it a run. But I just felt that was straying away from combos. Pot of Avarice worked. Pot of Avarice worked. So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Tell us a little more about the Tornado Dragon. I know you had an interesting concept about Tornado Dragon.
Yes. So Tornado. So there were a couple of times when I ran into the issue of. So this is actually good in two different instances. Let's say you have an opening hand and you are so close to having like a super hot fire turn, but you drew like the wrong Tenyi. So you opened up like a Shathana, which isn't a Tenyi extender. You opened up Parallel Exes, which by all other means is a great card. And then you opened up Mare. And you want to be able to go like super full ultimate combo. You can still end on your Link 4 monster with this, because what you do is you can Shathana, special summon, go into the Monk, special summon Parallel Xyz. Tornado Dragon, though it has dragon in the text, is very much a worm monster.
My goodness.
So you special summon Tornado Dragon, and now you have a Monk and Tornado Dragon. You have two worm monsters. You go into Shaman, you pitch the Mare, you special summon the Mare back. You can go into your full Link 4. So that is one instance where I found it viable. Another instance is at the end of your videos, one of the things that you would do frequently is if you opened up like a really, really strong hand and you had Ashushana, Vessel, and like Heavenly Dragon Circle, which is still like a really good combo. And if you didn't want to do the True King Lithosagam end board, you can still very much do what you did, which is an end board on the Link 4, and use pitch the Heavenly Dragon Circle, so you can grab a counter trap, which is amazing. Just being able to search a counter trap is so good. So you'd get a Link 4, a counter trap, and then you would end on Draco Berserker of the Tenyi by banishing Ashushana, special summoning one of the level 4s, and going the level 4 plus your tuner Mare.
I think it was with this. I never end with Draco. Always Appaloosa. It's so with that hand it would be. There's two variants. One would be the Appaloosa, the level 4, and a normal monster, or I would play an Appaloosa, Drag Knight, Drag It, that's the name, right? Yeah. And a normal monster. Something along the lines. But there was an Appaloosa and the level 4. Because I'm really greedy, so I always go for like maximum greediest combos. I try and figure out the worst. So yeah, I think that was the end board with these three cards. That is an Appaloosa, the rank 4, the counter, because there's a 5 interruption, right? Yeah, 5 interruption. Yeah. Appaloosa, the rank 4, counter trap, and a normal monster. Yeah.
So, but instead of going into Draco Berserker of the Tenyi, if you wanted, because this card is so close to being so good.
Oh my goodness.
Because if it read, if your opponent activates a monster effect, negate banish it, this would be
This would
$10,
be
$20 card.
So good. Negate and banish, oh my goodness. This can definitely would be $20. Definitely.
Yeah, at least $20. So the only problem is unfortunately that's not the world we live in. It only banishes, and that banish, while it can hurt certain decks, it doesn't, because it doesn't negate, some decks can still combo off, so it doesn't feel that great. So the alternative that I found is using my level 4 Mare after you summon your 3 tokens, and special summoning one of your level 4 Tenyi monsters. You're still locked into Worm, but again, Tornado Dragon, still a Worm monster. So if you're playing into a back row heavy deck, like I did with Eldritch, or even if you just want to remove something like Dragon Link's Tidying, Invoke Shadal's Schism, if you just wanted to be able to pop either one of those, which are very high impact cards, you can go into Tornado Dragon and just remove that. And if they don't have a way of getting around Tornado Dragon, more than likely they won't even play the card.
Yes. I love it. I wasn't even aware Tornado Dragon was a worm.
Yeah.
Tornado Dragon is a worm. I'm like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, that's when I got desperate and I just went up here, went category, type, and scrolled all the way down to Worm, and I literally just read through all 76 cards, because that is really not that much to read through. And I just searched and went and looked at, hey, what is literally every Worm card I can play? And that's when I found that Tornado Dragon not a dragon. And a very good back row destruction substitution that this deck is sorely lacking.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. This is one of the downfalls of the deck. The pop factor. It's unfortunate. Hope like we hoping and praying that Tenyi can get some support. And
For sure.
like and as I told you, this deck is so underrated. I've been thinking of making a top 3 or top 5 underrated budget decks because there are some decks that have the capability of doing the work, but everyone's talking about the same top 5 budget decks on all channels. I wouldn't make top decks. If you guys are expecting any top tier budget deck, at least you won't get it. This it's not enough information. You guys came here to learn, to be informed, inspired, to learn stuff, tech cards, combos. Me telling you about the top 5 card, top 5 decks, budget decks won't change anything. It's me. But however, I will most likely make underrated, and I will state why. And Testament, guys, Testament, Quentin, destroying the guys that breaking the wallets, one card $100 with his Tenyi deck. That should say something. Tenyi, underrated. Get your Tenyi deck, destroy your local, and send me an email. Yeah, Quentin. Anything else you have to share with us?
No, I think that's it. I mean, the only thing I would say is one thing that definitely helped me out is practice. Definitely know your matchups. That is probably the best thing that you can do when playing a budget deck.
That's right.
Is know your opponent's matchup. If they're playing meta cards, it is so easy to figure out what they're going to do because most people just go online, look up a deck profile, watch some videos. You can do the exact same thing. And while you're not playing that deck, you can learn exactly what they're going to do and learn what tech cards to run and where to interrupt your opponent's combos.
Yep.
So just having that information, knowing what your opponent does, and practicing your own deck is really important. Something that I'll do literally whenever I'm bored, whenever I have nothing to do. If it's like 15, 20 minutes, I've got some downtime, I'll just launch YGO Pro and hit this test hand button. And I will see every single possibility that my hand could have, and I'll just be like, what combo can I do with this? What extension do I need? What card would help me out in this situation? What do I want to see? What do I want to substitute? Is there anything that I want to tweak with like the deck ratio? So definitely practice and knowing your matchups.
Definitely. And knowing your matchups, guys, this is so important. We are at a disadvantage just playing budget as it is. And not knowing a matchup just makes things worse. And I'm a testament to that. Because when I'm play tested online, I admit the deck and like, wait, do I interrupt now? When do I do this? And I would be having the advantage against somebody with expensive decks. And I would lose because I don't know when to interrupt. I don't know what's coming up next. So, learn the matchup. So, most time when you go and play online, guys, we don't play online to win. We don't care about that. You win at your locals. We play online to learn. You do not know how to play deck, make it online. Don't be like me. I'm like, wait, I cannot purchase, I won't purchase that card in real life. I won't even play with it. That's just being dumb. I'm being dumb, yes. Make the damn deck online, learn the deck, play it, understand it, and once you understand, you know how to play against it. We cannot have ourselves at more of a disadvantage by not knowing the matchups. I think you mentioned one of your matches, due to the matchup knowledge, you drew that match, right?
Yes, so that was into Dragon Link. So the only game I drew was against Dragon Link, and I lost the first game in the 3-game set. And the thing that felt terrible is because that was my first time playing Dragon Link. I had no idea what to hit. Yeah. And I had Ash Blossom in hand for almost his entire combo because I was just so scared because I didn't know what to ash. And if I had ashed anywhere in the early bit of his combo, he even admitted that he did not have any extenders in hand.
There you have it, guys. There you have it. So, learn the matchups, guys. Learn them. It really, really, really helps. Trust me. Yep.
One other thing I would like to say, I do have an alternate list up here, and I would say I have an honorable mention as well. A couple of cards that I thought about playing, and I didn't run it in this tournament run, but that isn't to say that if it's your playstyle, you can't. So a couple of other honorable mention cards down here. Phantasme, only $2 right now. The alternate art came out and it has plummeted in price and it is beautiful, and this is still a great card. The one thing I will say that to be careful of, and this had to change the deck list a little, if you have Phantasme on field, none of your Tenyi monster effects are going to work because you control an effect monster.
Yes.
And that is why in the extra deck I run Lance Phronesis, because it's a link to any 2 monster, non-effect link monster.
That's right.
So
monster.
you can Phantasme, you can fix whatever broken bad hand you have, and then you can just go into Lance Phronesis next turn, still go full Tenyi combo, and it's so good. So that is a good substitute. And sticking on the archetype of C, to go with the Contact C, another good honorable mention alternative is Retaliating C. For those of you who don't know what this card does, this card single-handedly destroys Invoke Shaddoll. During either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell card that includes the effect to special summon a monster, spoiler alert, that is any fusion card. So if your opponent is playing Prank Kids, if your opponent is playing Invoke Shaddoll, anything that's fusion summoning, you play this. Special summon this card from your hand. It goes to your side of the field. And while this card is face up and special summoned this way, any card that would be sent to the graveyard is instead banished.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So while, yes, your opponent can activate Shaddoll Fusion and pull out a window, you summon this, and you're doing it on your opponent's turn, so it doesn't stop you from special summoning anything. And all of the Shaddoll monsters that they would and were aiming to send to the graveyard, you now made them banish, which means they don't get to play with those for the rest of the game.
Nice, nice, nice.
And the other fun, spicy thing is the synergy, because when this card is sent to the graveyard, it searches Contact C. So they get rid of your Retaliating C, and now you have a Contact C, which, once again, that's another card that shuts down most of the meta, as we already went over.
Yes, yes. Wow, 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 man. Great.
And the honorable mention that I would like to point out, and this still works, and this is a great alternate to if you didn't want to run a Barrier Statue version. If you tribute Monk with Heavenly Dragon Circle, you special summon Nidhogg from deck. And if you do not know what Nidhogg does, it is a once per turn, tribute a worm monster, negate a summon.
Yep. Oh, wow. What? That was sweet tech. I didn't even notice that kind of a worm.
Again, that's what you get for just filtering.
Yeah.
I've done this for so many different things. I tried to make an insect deck or a plant deck, and those types of monsters have like thousands of cards. So when I sorted through and I'm like, oh, there are only 76 worm monsters. Amazing. This will take like 10 minutes. And I just literally read through all of them.
The tech ideas are on point. The explanations are on point. Your reason for playing the cards, your ratios, most of the cards you're playing, they are wonderful. And the success. The testament, guys. Question, I'm going to have in the link in below the deck profiles. So you guys can give it a spin. And then add your own touch. You don't necessarily have to play the decks we discuss. Add your own touch, because everybody play different. Like I said, I'm a combotitious guy. Is that even a word? No idea. Quinton is more of a control guy. So we put both ideas together, dominating the local. I'm so happy. I wish I could see these guys' faces. Oh man, great Quinton, man. I'm so excited about this. I'm so excited for you guys. Guys. Do you believe? Do you believe? I do, definitely. Oh man, Quinton, thank you man so much for coming on. Thank you so much for reaching out. Because Quinton sent me an email and I was like in smiles. I was like, my wife was like, what's going on? I was like, I just got an email from this cool guy, and like, wow. So guys, if you guys share the success stories with us, you guys can come on the channel. This channel is all about us, the budget community. It's our channel, you know. I'm just here helping out, you know, just helping out. And if you guys have any testaments, have any results you want to share, just reach out to me. Just reach out to me, like Quinton did. I'm sure he'll be back because nothing's stopping this guy. Nothing's stopping this guy. And we'll be happy to hear more. We're happy to hear more, man. We're happy to hear more. So happy to have you, man. Thank you so much for reaching out. I'm just so happy. I'm happy, and I'm really hoping the viewers will be happy about this. And even more motivated and inspired now. All right, so thanks so much for coming on. Your Sunday, you spend like almost an hour. Hey,
I'd rather spend it no other way. This was thank you for having me here, and I hope all the budgeters really gleaned something out of it. Even if they don't like playing Tenyis, I hope they were able to get some useful information about how budgeters like us can stay competitive in this very expensive metagame.
All right, Quinton, thanks so much again, man. All the best to you, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, take care, man.
Yeah, bye.